Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup. Where we're going to cover the games from this morning in the LPL and LCK, and then preview the two series tomorrow in China. So, 195 and 89 on the year with my predictions. 4-1 today. Only one I got wrong was JDG OMG, which I think everybody in the Discord got wrong. That chose to participate in the predictions. IG and Ultra Prime start us off. IG 25th in the power rankings at 6 and 5. Ultra Prime 3 and 7. IG win 2-0 on at 80 carry, went 16 kills, 1 death, 7 assists for MVP with 36% of IG's damage. Dove went 6-1-15 in mid, and then Ching across from him went 4-7 and 3 for 30% of damage for Ultra Prime. Up really didn't have a lot going for them. I thought the solo laners had some nice moments. Harry playing Kennen, he had some really nice ultis and team fights that really was able to equalize the diff that OMG had built, especially in bot lane. Well, not OMG, geez. That's a whole nother scenario. IG built a big lead in the bot lane. Gideon got around for IG, made some things happen. YSKM, a couple good moments, then other moments that kind of like, well, I didn't think YSKM played exceptional today. Against Harry, I thought I would get more out of him. As far as mid lane's concerned, because Dove played Gragas in game 2, his impact was kind of limited. I mean, obviously, he's got some facilitator impact and things like that, but at the same time, he's not going to dominate that matchup. And it allowed for Ultra Prime's solo laners to have opportunities. I think Ching played Ryze in game 2 and was able to go up to top lane and make something happen. Where Dove really couldn't match that. It's nice to see IG win this because I thought that this could be a trap situation for them, especially because they haven't done well over the last couple weeks. Ultra Prime are a team that you can't take for granted, especially the bot lane with Doggo and Baolan, but On and Wink got the job done in a pretty convincing fashion. So that's kind of the situation with IG and up. JDG and OMG. JDG second in the power rankings at 8 and 2 would lose 2-1 to OMG, who were 23rd at 5 and 4. Cream was MVP. Abel went 7-5-9, 25% of damage for OMG. Aki went 3-5-21 in the jungle. Knight led the way for JDG, going 7-3-10 for 29% of damage. JDG won game 1 handily in the gold department. Consistently ahead, but team fights were sloppy. OMG were allowed to find many kills on the back end of fights that allowed them to stay close. Like at one point there was a Baron situation, I think, when JDG stole the Baron from OMG. Kills were 14-12 JDG, but gold diff was like 9k for JDG. Like they were gapping them in the item and gold department, but team fight wise they were not able to get it done. And that ended up punishing them the rest of the way. I thought, JDG, all in all, did not look great in this series. Now, were they blown out? I don't really think so when you're in a 2-1 situation, especially with the way Game 3 ends with the back door. A game that JDG actually threw, in my opinion. I don't think that it's a blowout or all that concerning. They threw the game. They threw the series. Game 2 was a problem. OMG, nearly perfect game. JDG outside of a 369 solo kill on Deshanji in top lane, 1 turret and 1 Drake. Outside of those 3 things, nearly a perfect game, right, I guess. We had a closer perfect situation with KT and Sandbox in the LCK, but you would expect more out of JDG. I think we all would. But we also have to understand that JDG are a summer team. I do not anticipate JDG being at their best until summer. They have a lot of things they have to work out. A lot of teams are like that with all the moves of big name players we saw this past offseason. I think a lot of people want, instant results, and instant results are just not it. I don't think that those are really something you can rely upon. Especially when we're looking at it right now. Like, am I going to say JDG have problems because they're 8 and 3 in the LPL in spring and we're still 7 months away from Worlds? Absolutely not. I think that is ridiculous. I think that would be like that. That's silly. OMG won. Cream, I thought in game 3 on the Yone was very impactful. He really he really was aggressive in some team fights that got the job done for them, especially when they turned the game around. He and Abel both, but I thought Abel was not as consistent as Cream was throughout the series. Cream also in game one even had some impact on the Akali. Games 2 and game 3, though, were not high kill games either. Very slow games, and I've noticed this out of OMG. A lot of their games have turned to this way of play, that they slow the game way down. I have a hair or something hanging down here. Um, they slow the game down, and then they're able to just find a way. And that's not the style JDG really plays. JDG play really, really aggressive, and that's going to punish them. And I mean, you know, OMG were just a better team. Cream, like I said, and Abel in team fights in game 3. In game 2, JDG outside of a solo kill in top lane were really just irrelevant. Missing really left a lot on the table in this series, in my opinion. A Lux game sticks out to me, 0-5 and 6. This is another Lux game where his KDA is ugly. And you look and you see he gets picked off a couple times in that game, and you say to yourself, shit, I think Missing might not really have it on the Lux right now. And that's unfortunate because you would like Ruler and Missing Caitlyn Lux to dominate lane, which is what they should do. And I don't think Missing is keeping up right now. So that's the deal with that. Knight and Kanavi doing their job. I think even in game 3, the game that they're perfect game almost in game 2, I think Knight and Ruler both went combined 0-0-0. Obviously, a solo kill would be the one kill, but there were no deaths out of the two carries. So the two carries are not the problem. It's Kanavi inting a bit and Missing inting a lot. So that's the deal with this. And then lastly, Ninja and Pajamas and FPX. NIP 3 and 7, FPX 1 and 9, FPX win 2-0. LWX wins 15-1 and 7, 37% of damage at 80 carry. Care was MVP, going 11-1 and 14. Invincible 6-5-2, 39% of NIP's damage in top lane. You know your team is on struggle street if your top laner has 40% of your damage. That is concerning. NIP going back and forth in top lane. Finally, Rich leaves, so Invincible has the job right now for the end of the split. Mid lane going back and forth for months now, or, weeks, Dream and Pout. And Pout, I don't think is a bad player. I think Nip plays better with Pout. Concerning that the bot lane looked as bad as they did. I think maybe there was one play by the bot lane that was, positive in my opinion out of Nip, but otherwise FPX has had the advantage. I thought Chow Chow played a very good Rakan game. They had a Zaya Rakan situation where LWX actually looked pretty nasty as well. But I thought that Care between the two games did more. The Yone looking very good, and the Tristana. So, one of those games where FPX kind of shows us what they can be. Care is a very young player, as is Fearness in top lane, who played in place of Xiaolahu, losing his job. Maybe he's not that good off of anything but finesse champions in the end, which is unfortunate. I'd really like Xiaolahu on finesse champions, but if you can't play other things, then you're useless. So, FPX get the win. I had them winning this series. I thought that they could do it. I think they're a much better team with Chow Chow in the lineup, and that's what ended up happening. LCK Sandbox 6th in the power rankings at 8 and 5. KT 10th at 8 and 5. KT win 2-0. Lahens was MVP, played a very good Karma laning phase. The mid game was kind of iffy, but the laning phase was good. I think he played Thresh in game 2. Lulu in game 2. Sorry, Delight played Thresh. Aiming 9-1-11, 42% of KT's damage. A lot of that having to do with Lahens setting him up. Cuz 4-0-10 in the jungle, and then Birdall in top lane went 0-4-1, 35% of damage for Sandbox. A lot of attention to top side in this one, in the laning phase, that KT definitely benefited from. In game 1. In game 2, not as much. Keen played Ornn, and he was kind of on an island. They got one kill up there, got Birdall behind, and he wasn't able to recover. But outside of that, I thought KT played a very, very good series. The bot lane doing its job. Like I said, Lahens getting ahead individually, kind of gapping Envy and Cal as Sandbox are starting to return down to earth now. I'm not saying that's overly Surprising. I think I had Sandbox ranked 6th when we, had a thought experiment in the Discord when it came to how things would turn out at the end of the split. So these two losses aren't overly shocking. Them losing to KT, and I think they lost their last series to KDF. Well, the KDF loss is a shock. They shouldn't have lost to KDF, but beside the point. Sandbox, not a lot really going for them. Willer had under 100 damage per minute. Closer being gapped by BDD. BDD putting together arguably a month of play that we haven't seen in years out of him. And also, Closer has been a weak point of Sandbox, in my opinion. Maybe their worst player thus far this split when I look at the entirety of it, which I don't think a lot of people really think about. I think they look at Closer and they think that he's doing a lot, but I really expect more out of him. So, KT win. I mean, they just were better in every which way. Keen was better in top lane. Cuz was better than Willer. Mid, BDD did more than Closer did. And then in bot lane, it was individually just in a vacuum. KT dominated, which is something you expect on paper, but throughout the split, you also assume it'd be closer. There was a game where Sandbox had 2 Drakes, and that was the difference between perfect game or not. So that was also pretty ugly. Genji and Bro. Genji 3rd in the power rankings at 9-4. Bro 4-9. Delight ends up being MVP. Very, very good Nautilus game, and then followed up by a good Thresh game. I mean, I didn't think he was as impactful to the result in the second game, but the first game individually, he got Pays ahead, and I think Pays was on the Draven in game 1. I think it was Draven, Nautilus, and then Aphelios Thresh, and that really just gave them the advantages they needed, obviously, with the Draven being fed. Genji 2-0, Chovy goes 8-0-14, 25% of damage. Peanut 8-0-14 as well, so when your mid-jungle duo goes 16-0-28 combined, you're in a good spot. Henna had the most damage for Bro at 0-6-3, 29%. Genji only had 6 deaths between these 2 games. A very, very clean and dominant performance, showing, hey, we are still a very, very good team despite having 4 losses. There are, this battle for second place in the LCK is going to be a tight one all the way to the wire. All these teams are around each other except T1. T1 are on their own tier. Every which way you kind of look at it, Genji beat Bro. Bro tried to go top lane a lot to get Doran behind. It was with mixed results. Obviously, with only 6 deaths, you can really only, say that you only did so much, right? There's not a lot of nice things to say about Bro in this one. There's really not. It was very one-sided, very low kill games, the Bro style of play, and still they couldn't get it done. Sneak peek for tomorrow, LPL Thunder Talk 6-4, Rare Atom 4-6. Both teams swapping in different supports from their last series. Against FPX, when Thunder Talk would win, they had Jin Lu in the lineup. Yao Yao is back. For Rare Atom, they've been going with Southwind all split. They lost to IG last time they were on the Rift, and now Baker or BKR is playing for Rare Atom, making his what I assume to be his debut. It might just be a 2023 debut. I've never really watched him play. Week 10, Rare Atom would win in Summer 2-1. 7 of the 10 starters overlap from that one. The jungle matchup is what I'm highlighting. Leon went 12-7 and 24 for 21% of Rare Atom's damage in the win, where Beshwan went 4-12-17 for 15%. I think that series was a situation where neither one had anything to play for because they both were out of the playoffs. RNG and BLG, RNG 16th, BLG 13th, RNG 5-6, and BLG 5-5. This is going to really impact the power rankings if RNG lose this one. There are a lot of teams that still have to play. We have these 2, and then all 4 teams on Tuesday are in the top 25. Actually, all 4 teams on Tuesday are in the top 9, I believe, right? It's EDG and Weibo, and Top and who? Who else is up there? Is it LNG? I think it is. So it's going to be a really, really interesting day on Tuesday. But tomorrow, this series also, I mean, these two teams are close. RNG lost to top last time they were on the Rift. And BLG got upset by LGD, which is extremely ugly and makes me want to drop them out of the top 25 altogether. But stats-wise, they're still grading out pretty positive. If they get 2-0'd tomorrow, they could be in that bottom area where IG kind of was last week. Week 7 of Summer, RNG won 2-0 the last time they played. Half of the starters from that series start tomorrow. In top lane, Breathe went 4-3-11 for 17% of RNG's damage. Bin, a little more important to his team in that one, going 5-8-1 with 28%. Obviously, Bin playing with RNG last spring, winning MSI, getting benched. Well, not getting benched, but getting sent back to BLG. Some loan deal or whatever had something to do with Uzi. I mean, it was a load of crap then. It's still a load of crap now. So, obviously, Ben has some animosity, I'm sure, because ever since he's went to BLG, he hasn't had a team as good as the one that won MSI, obviously. So, that should be a close one. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a supporter, and thank you for watching.